straight away go into the reading. Today is very special reading. Today, the secrets of a lot of questions that Gopakumar did not reveal ahead, he's going to reveal it in this session today. So let's try how much we can understand with Gurudev's mercy. Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Pashyatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I guess today Shri Gaurangi Mataji must be in the dressing for their lordships. So Amritanandini Mataji, you can continue from O Fickle Heart. That's where we start today.
Oh, fickle heart, now use your intelligence, therefore, to cast this lower nature far away. It doesn't belong here. There is nothing greater than to reside in Vaikuntha, no greater goal. Consider the hundreds of arguments that support this truth and achieve the highest peace.
So every dham, whenever his mind gets disturbed, he does preach to his mind. So that is a nice point that we can all imbibe, that we got to always preach to our mind. Gayatri Mataji, are you there today? Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, please go ahead.
After thus instructing my mind, I would look at myself in my Satchidananda form and see myself constantly relishing what seemed the highest happiness, intense and amazing, from worshipping the Supreme in Vaikuntha. When Gopakumara thought about his situation rationally, he could pacify himself, but still his heart would sometimes be helplessly drawn to remembrance of Sri Madana Gopala and become agitated.
Hare Krishna. Leela Madhavi Mataji?
Mataji, she's not there. So,
Okay,
Mataji.
Yeah. Please take over, Mataji. Yes.
Sorry, Mataji, today I'm late. Too late.
No problem, yeah.
Nayan Sundri Mataji.
That crest, Mataji, should I start with that?
Thus I resided.
Thus I resided in Vaikuntha, sometimes joyful and sometimes disturbed. Then one day, Narada found me in a secluded place.
Naraji is always at our rescue.
That crust jewel of merciful persons, the Lord's dearmost devotee, is an ocean of the takes of the
Lords,
What is that, Mataji?
Tastes I have seen. I have not seen that.
Takes of the Lord's devotional service. He delighted me by blessing me and touching my head with his hand, which held its friend, the Vina. And then he spoke to me.
I like the word which held its friend, the Veena. He's called Veena his friend. So nice.
Oh, okay, Narada friend.
Yeah.
The great master Narada said, "My dear son of a cowherd, you have received the mercy of the divine Lord of Vaikuntha. Yet from signs like the paleness of your face, you appear depressed, like someone suffering misfortune." So, Shikala Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Please tell me what scope could there be for pain and sorrow here? I'm most curious because here I have never seen anyone in such a state.
Yeah, the commentary, a little bit of commentary, could you read?
Yes, Mataji. Since pain and sorrow have never before shown themselves in Vaikuntha.
So this is very contradictory for people in Vaikuntha. What's happening to Gopakumar? Jai.
Vasantaraju Mataji.
Sri Gopakumara said, I was most fortunate to have met that greatest authority, Narada, the most reliable of well wishers, who was equal to my Guru. And so I fully disclosed to him what was in my heart. For Gopakumara, Narada was not only Paramatma, the most authoritative source of knowledge, but also Srutsreshta, the best possible friend. These two qualifications made him as good as Gopakumara's Diksha Guru. Thus, Gopakumara was not at all hesitated to share with Narada everything he was feeling.
This is so important. That's how the friendship between devotees is always encouraged. Seeing this, that then it's easy to reveal one's mind. So Narada was such a not alone that authoritative source of knowledge, but best possible friend. So he did not feel any hesitation in sharing his deepest thoughts from his heart. So very nice. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead. Sirish, Vallabi Gopi. Is she there?
Yes, Miss Mataji. Pallavi Gopi Mataji?
Oh, sorry, Mataji, is it my turn? Sorry.
Yeah.
After hearing my whole story, Narada signed a little, glanced around, drew me near, and compassionately spoke to me in a soft voice.
Sirisha Mataji? Srisha Mataji, would you like to read?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Narada could understand.
Sri Narada said.
Okay. Sri Narada said, by a chain of logical reasoning, you have concluded that nothing is higher to achieve than this above. And you are certainly correct. The truth cannot be other than this.
Neeta Mataji, would you like to read today? Hare Krishna, Neeta Mataji. Otherwise, Payal Mataji is not there. Yeah, Payal Mataji. Richa Mataji.
Even so, you desire to see with your own eyes your worshipable Lord's pleasure pastimes that appear to you in meditation. You want to see those pastimes here in Vaikuntha and in full detail. Commentary. While practicing meditation on his mantra, Gopakumara would see in his mind Lord Madan Gopala and his unique pastimes. Narada knew that Gopakumara's unfulfilled ambition was to see those same pastimes in Vaikuntha, to see them with his own eyes and experience them fully.
So this again emphasizes while he was chanting the mantra, he was already seeing Madan Gopal and his unique pastimes. So this is that's why I highlighted. So we have to remember how the mantra is already revealing to him in his heart, and he wants to see that now for real.
Neeru Mataji.
Those pastimes give even the Lord Himself the greatest pleasure. They enchant the heart, but only by a special kind of love can they be perceived. They are the most confidential mystery. One can approach them only with the highest degree of prema, like that of residents of Braja. Surely those pastimes can never be seen by persons like me.
Even Narada Muni is saying that those pastimes he cannot see. That's how special and great they are. Anybody else who has not read so far? If not, I will go ahead. It is in a certain world somewhere above all others that those pastimes are to be seen, enchanting the Lord's devotees. But by your own bhakti for the Lord of the creation, you have come to Vaikuntha. How can you see those pastimes here? Gopakumar, his interest aroused, wants to know where he can see the supreme pastimes of the Lord. Narada answers though that those pastimes are going on in a particular place above every other material and spiritual world. Since that unique place is most secret, Narada cannot show it to Gopakumara at once. Gopakumara will have to earn his entrance. He should not expect to see those pastimes in Vaikuntha, because in the world where those pastimes go on, the mood of the Lord's devotee differs from the predominant Vaikuntha mood of awe and reverence. In that higher world, the most intimate friendship with the personality of Godhead prevails. A devotee can attain that world only by knowing the Supreme Lord in loving friendship. Okay. Amritanandini Mataji back.
Yes. How can this greatest secret be revealed here in Vaikuntha, where the extreme limit of the Lord's all powerful opulence is displayed?
Jai.
Gayatri Mataji.
Put aside all this lamentation and just see the divine master of Vaikuntha as the same Lord you cherish. Don't consider them two different persons.
Nine Sundari Mataji, Leela Madhvi Mataji is not there.
No.
Sorry, Mataji. Then, even here, your heart will be flooded with supreme happiness, unlimited and ever increasing.
So initially he's trying to convince him that see the Lord here in Vaikuntha only, like don't hanker for anything more. He's trying to test, see, always Narad Muni tests if you can remember Dhruva's pastime. Go back, it's okay, you're a child, you're alone, it will be hard. He will say all that and he will persuade him to go back, but he's testing. So that's the same thing he's doing here also to see how determined is Gopakumar to move forward.
Yeah. Sri Gopakumara said, I then wanted to hear Narada explain from his own mouth certain philosophical conclusions about which I was already thinking. My ears were forcing me to do this. Gopakumara feels relieved by what Narada has said thus far. In text 39 of this chapter, Gopakumara had proposed to explain later to his Brahmana student the reason for the extreme variety of appearances in Vaikuntha. With the help of Narada's instruction, Gopakumara has now done this. Now he wants to free the Brahmana from all doubts and misconceptions by enlightening him about the most priceless essence of Vaishnava philosophy, which Narada revealed when Gopakumara met him in Vaikuntha. Text 136 through 235 narrate these further teachings.
So I want to give you a disclosure, like from here on, a very special reason for that different varieties of people living in Vaikuntha is going to be explained, and it is really very sweet. But if we don't pay attention, we can also get confused. So please do try as much as possible to pay attention. Thank you.
Because of respect and shyness, I couldn't ask him about these matters. But that best of omniscient mystics, the greatest Vaishnava, knew what I was thinking.
I immediately thought of Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. Sometimes we have a hard time asking even the question correctly, and he understands our mind and he says the question for us and also answers it completely.
To give pleasure to my ears and to his own tongue, he briefly expounded on each of the topics I was contemplating.
So Narada himself knew what to say now.
Sri Narada said, don't think that the flocks of animals and birds of this place are the trees, creepers, bushes, grass, and other vegetation are made from earth like ordinary creatures in the mode of ignorance. In Vaikuntha, Gopakumara saw many animals like cows, horses, and elephants, birds like doves and cuckoos, trees, bushes, and creepers like mandaras and kundas, and seemingly inauspicious creatures like insects and worms. He would have been wrong to think that These were inferior living beings, born into bodies covered by the mode of ignorance. They were not degraded like the living beings of the material world that assume bodies made of the element earth.
So here again, we have to understand every time we go on yatras, Maharaj always emphasizes don't see the pigs and do not offend the pigs or the monkeys in the dham. They are very, very special. So this is the point that we have to understand what he's going to get an answer right now. Yes.
Srisha Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. In fact, these are all personal associates of Sri Krishna, all with spiritual Sachidananda bodies. They have assumed such forms to taste the ecstasy of serving the Lord in various ways. These Vaikuntha Vasis choose to play such roles as animals and birds to increase the variety of Lord Narayana's pleasure, and they also want to share in that pleasure. Thus, the birds, beasts, trees, and creepers described by Lord Brahma in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when he tells of his own experience of Vaikuntha, are not ignorant creatures like the corresponding species of life in the material world.
Jai.
Neeta Mataji. Neeta Mataji. If not, then Richa Mataji.
Mataji, I'm listening today.
Okay, Mataji. Okay. Then Richa Mataji.
They have assumed forms with colors and shapes similar to those of the Lord they have worshipped as most dear. Commentary. This verse indicates that Vaikuntha devotees who appear in non-human forms, such as those of animal or plant, have worshipped similar forms of Lord Narayana, who by his who by his expansion appeared in those same species. These devotees, each in his own way, have realized the perfection of Sarupya, having attained forms that look just like those of the Supreme Lord.
So here I will say right away that these insects saw the Lord Narayan in the form of an insect. So they got attracted to that insect, like the Matsya avatar and the Kurma avatars. Those entities who got attracted to that form of the Lord, they also got that similar form. So they are still the Sarupya Mukti is there in Vaikuntha, but the form that they relished, they got the similar form to serve the Lord of their wish or their desire, which is like very bewildering for us to understand.
Mataji, is Narada Muni explaining to Gopakumara or Gopakumara explaining to his devotees?
Narada Muni explaining to Gopakumara.
Okay.
Yes. But this is what he will also explain to that Brahmana friend. So ultimately it's to the Brahmana friend, but story within story. So this is what Narada Muni explained to Gopakumar of the varieties that exist in Vaikuntha.
So Gopakumara is like he.
This whole thing is what Gopakumar is telling. This whole thing to his student. What all he saw. Yeah.
Uh-huh. No. My question is Gopakumara is satisfied with Narada Muni's answer, like he's not satisfied with in that place, right?
Yes, so it will get revealed slowly. Yes.
Okay.
Why he's not satisfied, but still his doubts also are there. Like every dham, he has to understand completely. Only then he can move to the next. So now Narad Muni is explaining him the what all he saw and why the differences are there, and still they are not different. How? So the science, he's getting the lessons from there in each dham.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Neeru Mataji.
Having each attained sameness with a particular form of the Lord, they have gained the opulences of various kinds of bodies, as sages, demigods, fish, tortoises, human beings, and mystic seers.
Some have become hawks, man lions, or dwarfs, and some have 3 eyes, 4 arms, or thousands of eyes like the Mahapurusha.
Some have assumed bodies with thousands of faces or the features of a human. features of such deities as the sun, moon, the gods of air and fire. Some have 4 arms, or 8 or 12 or more, and various kinds of dress, ornaments, symbols, and other attributes.
So again, I'll pause here to say that, like how each of us, right? Sometimes we like Krishna with in the Mangalarti dress. Some people like him dressed opulently. Some like in a different way. Like that, these devotees got attracted in different forms of the Lord. So whatever form they got, like even the Mahapurusha, they liked that form of the Lord. So the form whichever they liked, they also got that form in the Vaikuntha Dham. That is what is getting being explained here. So could you read this part also, Mataji, Amritanandini Mataji?
In text 144 through 147, Narad depicts in some detail this variety of bodily form, dress, and so on. Some Vaikuntha devotees appear as human beings because of having attained Sarupya, likeness in form, with such incarnation of the Lord as Sri Raghunath. Others appear as Munis by Sarupya with sage incarnation like Sri Kapil Dev, or as demigods by Sarupya with Manvantara avatar like Lord Satyasen and Lord Vibhu. Others appear as rishis by Sarupya with incarnation like Sri Parshuram, or as fish by Sarupya with Lord Matsya, or tortoises with Lord Kurma. Some who worship Shiva or Brahma as a representative of the Supreme appear in bodies with 3 eyes or 4 heads. Some appear like Indra with 1,000 eyes, like Anantashesh with thousands of heads, or like Surya or other demigods. Vedic scriptures like the Indra, Indra Stutis, the mantras glorify Indra, support such worship of demigods as representative of the Supreme Lord. In the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we also find demigods like Surya being worshipped as representative of Lord in Plakshadweep and the other division of the Burloka plantain system. The only means for achieving entrance into Vaikuntha is pure exclusive love for the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Ordinary demigod worshippers are never eligible to become resident of Vaikuntha, but worshippers who regard Shiva and other demigods as not different from Lord Vishnu achieve special Vaishnava perfection. As the Vaman Puran and other scriptures describe, those devotees join the exalted association of the Supreme Lord they worship, either on the respective planets of the demigod representative of the Lord, or in some cases on a Vaikuntha planet where the devotees are endowed with the special opulence of those demigods.
So I guess quite a lot of details for us to understand.
Whoever comes to Vaikuntha realizes the very same service to the lotus feet of Krishna for which he had developed a taste by the end of his material life. And he realizes that service in full detail with suitable dress, form, and so since each mode of devotion is there to the personality of Godhead, and each gives pleasure to the devotee absorbed in it. While practicing devotional service in their previous material lives, those devotees neared the perfection of love of God and so began to display symptoms of that perfection. Those devotees varied in their individual moods or rasas and varied accordingly in the forms of the Lord upon which their devotion focused. And when those devotees achieved Vaikuntha, they brought with them their individual rasas. In each case, no matter how unusual the form of devotion was, it gave pleasure to the Supreme Lord because those individual moods pleases the Lord. They were attractive also to the devotees expressing them, who therefore did not want to give them up. When the Supreme Lord so desires, some of his devotees imitate the mundane activities of Indra, Chandra, and other demigods, even in Vaikuntha. After all, everything that exists can be found in Vaikuntha in a purified form.
Jai. Very detailed explanation. Jai.
In Vaikuntha, each devotee sees the Supreme Lord Sri Narayan in the form of the particular lord he worships, with suitable complexion and other qualities. Thus, in Vaikuntha, each devotee can cherish the Supreme Lord in his own way.
So now we have to understand in Mahakalapura how the Mahakala Purusha was said that whichever form they were worshipping, I will show them that form. But they were merging into the effulgence of that form that they worshipped. So Vaikuntha is one up, right? So it also has this here also the Lord can show the form that the devotee likes, but there is also loving exchange with that form. So if we understand like that, then it will be very easy for our mind to go with the flow. So knowing the hierarchy in that way, it's about that Brahmajyoti level. In a Brahmajyoti, they also saw the same whatever Nashinga form or whichever form they worshipped, they could see, but they would merge into that form that they liked. But here they get to serve the form that they liked. Jai.
The same kind of ecstasy these devotees previously enjoyed in worshipping the Lord, they continue to relish here in Vaikuntha. They obtain it as a unique, uninterrupted, unchasing bliss, newer and newer at every moment. The type of devotional ecstasy each new resident of Vaikuntha developed in his last material life continues in Vaikuntha, but on the platform of spiritual perfection, and the ecstasy constantly grows, acquiring newer and newer variety.
Yes.
As before, these devotees still see their own worshipable Lord with all his unique features they found charming, his same and trait and everything else. These devotees, each in his favorite mood, constantly hope to serve him. They are indeed the wisest of saints, for they have each attained the final perfection of their own faith.
Yes, final perfection of their own faith.
Thus, they worship their favorite forms of the Lord in the places where He resides, His opulent cities, and other abodes, and expand the ocean of happiness. Commentary. The Vaikuntha kingdom has many confidential areas, including cities like Lord Ramachandra's Ayodhya. Devotees who, while living in the material world, worship the Supreme Lord as residing in some particular abode, go to a similar abode in Vaikuntha where they continue to worship Him with the entourage and paraphernalia that attracted them. The Almighty Personality of Godhead is present in Vaikuntha as Narayana, sitting in his excellent palaces on the best of thrones, but to all his surrendered devotees, he displays whatever aspects of himself they love with special affection. We should never think that Lord Narayana's display of multiple forms to various devotees is illusory. There is no influence of the illusory material energy in Vaikuntha, and the Lord is capable of doing whatever He wants. The special abodes like Ayodhya that are manifest within Vaikuntha are not separate worlds but special displays of spiritual variety arranged to expand unlimitedly the Lord's glories and the ecstasy of his devotees.
Very nice. Jai.
Vasantara Swantaji.
Devotees not exclusively attracted to one form of the Lord. Those whose affection is not focused on a single appearance of His are ready to serve Him in any form. Some devotees are attracted to all of the Supreme Lord's appearances. Those devotees serve any of one form of the Lord of Vaikuntha without any preferences as to which. Other devotees are attracted to serving two, three, or several particular forms.
I just loved this because I was
Yeah,
thinking of myself that I like so many more than one.
yeah, Madhu.
So Lord is so merciful, right, Mataji? He's like, as many you want, I can expand as many as I want
Yeah,
for you.
now we are Gauranga, Krishna, Narsingadev, Radha. All we do mention
So
different.
no worries, all taken care.
Yeah.
Jai.
Srisha Mataji.
Some devotees dedicated themselves to the 8 syllable mantra or some other mantra for the husband of Lakshmi, and when those devotees left their material bodies, they all obtained the shelter of this Vaikuntha.
Richa Mataji.
All the devotees in Vaikuntha enjoy the particular happiness for which they aspired and feel it greater than all others. This creates a hierarchy of tastes, but within it a simultaneous equality. Commentary. Whatever happiness a devotee may have felt from worshipping the Supreme Lord in the material world expands without limit when he achieves entrance into Vaikuntha. In other words, even though all devotees in Vaikuntha share the same basic spiritual nature, they feel varieties of pleasure. Different devotees relish various qualities of ecstasy in their hearing, chanting, and worshipping, and the ecstasy of one devotee may be greater than that of another. Still, each devotee in Vaikuntha is satisfied with his own devotional service. Whatever his rasa, when he develops to full maturity, he fully tastes the ecstasy natural to it. This point has already been discussed, and later it will be made even more clear.
Jai.
Neeru Mataji.
Neeru.
In the Lord's
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. In the Lord's appearances on earth, he shows similar varieties and equality. The Lord's forms are the shelter and the treasure of the earth. Among them are Nar Narayan and Dattatreya and Parshuram, the son of Jamdagni and Kapila. There are those who playfully assume the appearance of deities, and those, such as Vishnu and Yagneshwara, whom you have seen on Swargaloka and other higher planets. There are such various incarnations as Matsya, Kurma, Mahavraha, Shriman Narasimha, and Vamana. Each of these forms of the Lord has his own activities and names, yet all of them are full in eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Though manifesting variety in substance, they are eternally one.
Jai. The differences between them should never be seen as illusory, any more than should the plurality of the conditioned souls. Rather, the differences between the Lord's forms are displays of the energies that underlie his spiritual pastimes. The differences are born of the various moods of his various worshippers. The jivas are real and their differences are real, like how we all are real and we are all different too. In the same way, all the forms of Godhead are real manifestations of his pure spiritual essence displayed by his personal energies. The personality of Godhead is a vast ocean of many different moods of loving exchange. His various devotees respond to his various pastimes by developing individual varieties of ecstasy, and the Lord reciprocates with these ecstasies by showing himself in different ways. His devotees are concerned with him alone, and therefore, whenever a devotee becomes extremely anxious to see him in a particular form, the Lord at once shows that form to the devotee. These appearances of the Lord, although apparently ad hoc, are in fact eternal, real, and all pervading. Yes, Amritanand.
Therefore, this variety does not arise from the difference between an object and its reflected image, as with the sun reflected in water. Rather, the Lord's forms are like the one sun standing undivided in the sky, seen everywhere but in different ways in different places. One devotee sees the Lord as a brilliant sphere of light, another as having 4 arms and a red complexion. and yet another has having two arms holding a pair of lotus flowers. None of these different visions are illusory, because they are perceived by pure devotees, whom the Lord has no reason to deceive.
Jai. We will end with this last one. Gayatri Mataji, go ahead.
The Lord's various forms are one, just as knowledge and happiness, though separate entities, are one because they are both aspects of the same absolute truth. According to the Tai- Taittiriya and other Upanishads, Brahmana's identity is knowledge and also happiness. And since Brahman is always one, sorry, it is Brahman.
Brahman.
Brahman, Brahman is always one, non-dual. Its aspect of knowledge and happiness are also essentially one. Demonstrably, knowledge and happiness are one and different and real because the absolute truth is himself both one and many, and he is real in the variety he exhibits.
Yeah, like understanding our Achintya Beda, Beda Tattva. So simultaneous oneness and difference. So beautiful. So intense, right? Jai. Any thoughts and reflections, Mataji's?
Yeah, I remember one thing, Mata. A few years back, Yugal Kishore Prabhuji, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyasi's photo. It came, right? That first time it came that time Prabhuji showed us, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's picture. So everybody is wow, wow, wow. I am looking at few Matajis are there. I am looking at the picture and I am thinking, I am not convinced. So Prabhuji saw me and said, what happened? So I told, I don't know until now. I know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sannyasi, but until now we are worshipping him with the dress and hair and everything. I can't take it right now. So I cannot take it immediately. I never saw that sannyasi picture the first time I'm seeing. So Prabhuji smiled and yeah, it's okay. No need to worry. Sometimes we know, but since we are attached to this form, the new form comes, we know that story and everything, but of course, especially me, I cannot take it like that.
I totally agree, Mataji. Like how we get attached to a particular mood and a form, and
Yeah.
for us to accept another.
Always at Kunjabihar temple or Nitai Patpan Gaur, home deities or everything, the hair and mukut and everything will be there. I am just glancing the sannyasi form, that's it. I'm not, everybody saying, wow, okay. Why I am not able to take, I don't know.
So now you don't have to worry. The Lord will reveal whatever form you want in your heart. He will not make you. He will not give trouble to you.
Yeah.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing this realization. Jai. Any
So
other?
Mataji, one question. So in Vaikuntha, he's seeing only one form, right? 400 form. But Narada Muni explaining this many form means I don't understand, Mataji.
You actually, I was waiting. Somebody is going to ask this question. I was really waiting, and you came really close. So the point is, see, he wanted Madan Gopal, but he could not see Madan Gopal and his fast tense in Vaikuntha. Why? That means there is something there, the mystery there. So the mystery should be there for us to continue the story, right? Mystery ends, means the story ends. Like now with the information what Vaikuntha has, the Lord is able to manifest all the forms that we worship, and even the rasa, even the mood, the entourage, everything he's able to do in Vaikuntha. Then why not Madan Gopal, right? Then mystery. So that mystery has to get solved. That's what is going to take you further, Mataji. So that means that mantra has some special effects, and what is that cannot be even satisfied in the Vaikuntha Dham. If it could be satisfied, then he could have been fine, right there. Not satisfied, that means there is something more. So it did not end, you got it there. Jai.
Okay, Mataji.
Any other reflections so far? I just loved one point where after coming to ISKCON only, we have heard about Brahmaji with more than 4 heads. Anybody, if I go and tell them there are Brahmajis with 1,000 heads and more than like innumerable heads, they will be like, uh, are you even in senses to talk? Because nothing exists like that. Like they just know a Brahma with 4 heads and Lord Shiva, Vishnu, that's it. Like this one shell, one universe. But we are like, there are innumerable. When the Lord Vishnu breathes, and they'll be like, you just have gone crazy, like the frog in the well story. So we have now got the knowledge from our scriptures. So like that, there are so many planetary systems, so many devotees from other planetary systems who have perfected their life. They want to see the Lord in the form of insect, the bees, the bugs. The Lord is able to show them and attract them in that form, that they perfected their life and they're happy seeing the Lord in that form. I'm amazed. Jai. The variegatedness of the Lord and his devotees.
Mataji, there was one of the sentence in one purport. It was like who considers Shiva and other demigods as non-different from Lord Vishnu, they achieve special Vaishnava perfection.
Yes.
But if you see the 10 offenses of holy name, in that it was mentioned like Lord Shiva and Brahma, if you consider equal to or independent of name of Lord Vishnu, it is an offense.
Independent of, right? So those devotees knew that they're dependent, but they loved that person as like Ganesha worshippers or Kartikeya worshippers. They may know that they are demigods. They all know there is a father, even Lord Shiva is a father. They know that he is greater, but still they love Lord Ganesha like anything. For that, they just love him so much. So they are not comparing that Lord Shiva is obviously the father and he is the son, but still their love for Ganesha is more than Lord Shiva. So they would go to the planet of Lord Ganesha to serve him with love and respect. So that's what is being mentioned here. So they're not comparing in a sense to say that he's lower and higher, but just their love is pulled towards that demigod. So without offending the seniors, they give him the respect what he deserves and they love him unconditionally. That's what I understand, Mataji.
Okay. So it was mentioned Vaishnava perfection. So that word, it was like.
Yes. Like that's how in all those lokas people are there serving those demigods, right? They have their own entourage and they have their own worshippers, loyal worshippers. So if you're not loyal, he wouldn't have his own so-called kingdom or his palace of worship.
Yes.
Demigods, yeah.
Mate, as I remember, they mentioned that it said that they're representative of God. That's what they mentioned in the same sloka, Mataji.
Very nice. Yes.
Representative of.
Seeing them as the representative, but they love them so much. The attraction is there so much.
They did not mention that they are equal, Mataji. They said representative of God.
Wonderful, wonderful. Jai, Jai. I was just thinking this Bhagavad Gita Shloka 9.1 where the Lord says, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase shubhat. So in that knowledge and realized knowledge, so that's where now Gopakumar is getting realized knowledge, spiritual knowledge he's getting in every dham as he's moving forward. So for us, it is so important that we read scriptures and we understand the scientific knowledge behind what we are doing. Then our faith is really strong. Yeah. So that's where reading of scriptures is very, very, very important. Otherwise, we'll get shaken. We can get confused and our determination can get shaken. So, Jai. So, just a word for the Bhishma Panchaka coming starting from tomorrow. Many videos it has come up on Our Lady Sangha. So whatever vows you want to take, please go ahead, tell your lordships, take permission from your spiritual master and make that sankalpa tonight. And from tomorrow you can start that vrata. And the best thing is we all discussed is to increase our chanting, whatever numbers we could increase. And whatever fasting, like Nayan Sundari Mataji very nicely shared when she approached Yugal Kishore Prabhu that we have to do some tapasya. Tapasya means there has to be some hardship for the mind, body, and the soul, in a sense that we have to put some effort to do that. So either extra rounds, cutting down on some foodstuffs, or whatever level we could do to increase our Kartik Vrata, that will be amazing for these few days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evening we break it after the moonrise. We break it with whatever we did not eat for those 5 days. Yes, so thank you all so much. Any other questions, realizations, sharing before we end?
Mataji, the same number for the same Zoom for chanting too or different? Morning.
Morning, we have that conference call number, right, Mataji? I'll post it tomorrow morning.
Okay. So approximately what time you are starting, Mataji?
I am planning with all your blessings and mercy, if I can, between 5 to 5:15, Mataji, to start.
Okay, thank you. That's what I want. I want to finish it before I go to school. Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes.
Please post the number.
Yeah, I'll post it right away.
At least I'll try for the 5 days.
Huh.
I myself.
Yes, I'm also going to try with the holidays that is there coming. So,
yeah. Sure. Thank you. Tomorrow I have school. From day after tomorrow,
Thursday.
we have holiday. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, please encourage each other. Whatever vows you all are taking, do share a little bit to help each other to say this we can try, that we can try. So you can give it a try and pray to Bhishma Dev, because he was a powerful warrior who took this vow before leaving his body. And tomorrow is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji's disappearance day. He is the Vairagi, the greatest Vairagi in our renunciate. So he had that determination to in all his life. Like, just one thing is, like, when people would approach him, he didn't want to talk to anyone because he doesn't want to talk anything material. So he would go and shut himself in the lavatory. And in India, you can imagine, it's not like a restroom like how we have sophisticated restrooms. He went into those lavatories and he bolted himself and he stayed there for so many days because he didn't want people to come and bother him. So much of renunciate he is. And he only associated with Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and he had this one and only disciple, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He didn't want to make any disciples. So such a great personality's disappearance day is tomorrow. So we can take his blessings and Bhishma Dev's blessings and Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev's blessings, that we can all do this Kartik Vishnu Panchaka together. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Yo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnavi Vranda Ki Jai. Thank you all so much. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna.